Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to BVLSI Design Lecture number 25I. Today's topic will be realizing a compact XNOR gate, which is a transistor level implementation of the same using technique number 4. Okay, so let us jump into the circuit. So this is the circuit which consists of a transmission gate, a single transmission gate, and it also consists of a conditional CMOS inverter. Now, why conditional? Well, it depends upon the value of B and B bar, whether it is logic 0 or logic 1. Depending upon that, it behaves as a conditional CMOS inverter, and that is formed with the help of MP and MN. And here the output of the this circuit is should give or will give XNOR operation. It is like XNOR operation is like whenever the both inputs are 0 and 0. Well, by the way, whenever we call it as a 0, it means logic 0. That means 0 volt, and logic 1 is 5 volt. Okay. Whenever both the inputs are same, that is either 0 or either logic 1, the output will be logic 1, else the output will be 0. So this is the simple explanation for the truth table. Now, let's dive into the working of it. So let us concentrate on the first case. So in this case, A is logic 0 and B is logic 1. Okay, we'll repeat. A is logic 0 and B is logic 1. That means B bar will be logic 0. So whenever B bar is logic 0, this transmission gate over here, let me concentrate. Yeah, expand, and now you can see in a better visibility. Now this logic 0 B has been applied to the top of the transmission gate, and the bottom we have logic number 1. So in this case, your transmission gate will be on. Also, since logic 0 is been applied to the gate terminal of your PMOS transistor is also on. At the same time, the same logic 0 is applied to the gate terminal of NMOS, well, the NMOS is off. And we know that whenever the transmission gate is on, it passes both logic 0 and logic 1 very, very strongly. So since A is logic 0, the output will be a logic 0. And that is very well true in case of your XNOR gate. Whenever both the inputs are different, we get at the output a logic 0, a strong logic 0 in fact. Okay. Well, your PMOS transistor is also on. Well, it is not that significant because it will pass a weak logic 0 basically. But we have already have a second part which is passing a strong logic 0 via a transmission gate. So that is only shown in the picture. Now, let us go to the next case. So in the next case, we have A as 1 and B also as logic 1. So in this case, since B is logic 1, B bar will be logic 0. So this transmission gate will be on. At the same time, since A is logic 1, your NMOS will be on and PMOS will be off. Okay. And your transmission gate is on, and it will pass a strong logic 1 as it is at the output. So whenever both the inputs are same, we get a strong logic 1 at the output. Hence your Vout is a strong logic 1 is equal to 5 volt. Okay, so this is the case number 2 when both the inputs are same. Now let us go to case number 3. Over here, both the inputs are 0. A and B are 0. So if B is 0, B bar will be 1. So B bar logic 1 and B as 0 will turn off this transmission gate. At the same time, what has happened is, if you look carefully, B bar and B are acting as a power supply. So B bar is logic 1. That means the top of your PMOS transistor is your VDD and your bottom of your NMOS transistor is ground. So your MP and MN together with the input A forms a CMOS inverter. And we know from the CMOS inverter that whenever we have a logic 0 at the input, we get a strong logic 1 at the output. Hence the output is a strong logic 1 that is equal to 5 volt. Now another explanation will be to view it as a pass transistor. Now since we apply a logic 0 at A, now this A is going as a gate terminal of NMOS. So NMOS gate terminal is logic 0. So your NMOS transistor will be off. At the same time, this logic 0 is applied to the gate terminal of PMOS. So the PMOS transistor will be on. So whenever the PMOS transistor is on and we are trying to pass a logic 1, it will pass a very strong logic 1 at the output. So this is another explanation for the same case number 3. Now let us move on to the case number 4. So in case number 4, we have A as logic 1 and B as logic 0. That means B bar will be logic 1. That will turn off your transmission gate. And at the same time, since A is logic 1, your NMOS transistor is on and your PMOS transistor is off. So basically your MP and MN together with the input A forms a CMOS inverter with the supply given as VDD over here at the top, and here we have a ground because B is a logic 0. So we know that whenever we have a logic 1 given to the CMOS inverter, output will be strong logic 0. Hence here we have Vout equal to strong logic 0 in case when the inputs are different. Another explanation might be that since this NMOS pass transistor is on, because we have applied a logic 1 to the gate of it, and we are trying to force a logic 0 into this NMOS pass transistor, and we know that your NMOS pass transistor passes a very strong logic 0. So hence output will be a strong logic 0. So this in summary I have written over here. Let us see it quickly. So for NMOS pass transistor passes logic 0 very strongly, and it passes a logic 1 in the weak fashion, a weak logic 1. Whereas a PMOS pass transistor passes a strong logic 1 but passes a weak logic 0. Okay, so this confirms our belief in case number 1, 2, and 3 and 4. So this is summarized in the form of a table. So we have written in the form of a voltages. So it is always good to write in this form. So state of all the transistors and the transmission gate along with the 4 cases of the inputs 0 and 0, 0, 5, 5 volt and 0 volt and 5 volt and 5 volt. And we have written the output in terms of voltages. So the advantage of this circuit is that we get a full swing output. There is no loss of any logic voltage at all. We got a strong 0 and a strong 1 all the way around. Only thing is that this configuration or this technique requires 6 transistors. 4 transistors to implement this network which you see on your screen. Okay, this network 4 transistors, and to additionally generate B bar from B, we require another CMOS inverter. That's why the total count is 6. Now only thing left is to implement this in LT-Spice and check its functionality. So let us do that. Let me just minimize this a little. Okay, I think it is visible now. Yeah. So now let me also adjust the LT-Spice window and let me maximize this. So here we have it, the circuit. This is B bar. This is B bar A and B. This is A and B. This is my transmission gate consisting of PMOS and NMOS pass transistor. Here you see over here connected in parallel. Remember that for a PMOS, the body terminal, all the PMOS transistors, the body terminal will be connected to VDD, and the ground terminal, the body terminal of your NMOS transistor will be connected to the ground. So please remember that fact. Also, this is your PMOS over here. This is MP and this is MN, as you can see very clearly. Okay. Now let us maximize this. So this is my compact XNOR gate realization using technique number 4. Let us say what is the pulse A and B. So A is a pulse with a specification as 0 to 5. Time delay is 5 milliseconds. Rise time and fall time is 1 picosecond. On time is 6 millisecond. Period is 10 millisecond and number of cycle are 10. Similarly for B, everything is same except that the delay time is 6 millisecond. Rise time, fall time is 1 picosecond. On time is 8 millisecond and the period is 12 millisecond with number of cycle as 10. Now, additionally, we have connected a CMOS inverter to generate B bar from B. Okay, so hence the total transistor count over here is 2 for transmission gate, 2 for CMOS inverter, and additionally 2 for these conditional CMOS inverter. Okay, now let us simulate this. First of all, let us see what will be the dot model statement. So we have defined the dot model statement for NMOS and PMOS separately, and the threshold voltage is 0.6 for NMOS and minus 0.6 for CMOS. And let us give the dot tran as around 30 milliseconds. Instead of 60, let us keep the transient analysis to 30 milliseconds. Because we want to view VA versus time, VB versus time, and Vout versus time. And the power supply VDD is around 5 volt over here. Let me simulate this and click on run. Blank screen will open up with the x-axis as time axis. Right click on it, click on add plane. Right click, add plane. We are plotting VA first. So first we'll plot VA. Next we'll plot VB, and then the output Vout. So here we have to check the functionality of your XNOR gate. Okay, and we know that from the truth table, what is this XNOR gate? This is the truth table. So this is what we get for 0 0, 0 1, 1 0, and 1 1. Let us check that quickly over here. Okay, so let me take the cursor over here and keep it. For the first case, we have logic 0 and logic 0, that is 0 volt and 0 volt, and we get a very strong logic 1, as you can see over here, 5 volt. Let us see the next case now. So over here, A is 5 volt and B is 0 volt. So this is the third case. Over here, we get a very strong logic 0, as you can see, 28.41 nanovolt. It is as good as 0 volt. Next case is again, we have same inputs, that is VA as 5 volt and VB also has 5 volt. So it is the last case over here. You can see it carefully. Okay, in this case, we should get a strong logic 1, and we are getting a strong logic 1. It should be 5, but it's 4.9999. Okay, let us go to the next case. So next case, we have A as 0 volt and B as 5 volt. That is the second case. And in this case, we get a very strong logic 0. As you can see, 16.96 nanovolt is a logic 0. Next is VA and VB is again 0 and 0. And we get a strong logic 1 at the output, that is 5 volt. Let us check one more case. So in this case, VA is 5 volt and VB is 0 volt. So in this case also, according to the XNOR, since the inputs are different, output will be a strong logic 0. As you can see over here, it is around 5 microvolt. It is as good as 0 volt. Okay. So we in this manner we can check and complete the remaining analysis. Let us check one more scenario. So in this case, VA and VB is 5 volt. So the output will be a strong logic 1, that is 4.99. Okay. So in this way, we can check and complete all the other cases. So hence we have verified, and indeed the circuit over here in front of the screen is indeed working as a compact 2-input XNOR gate with a very good voltage output swing. In fact, full swing output we are getting, but additionally we require 2 more extra transistors. So the total transistor count over here is 6. Let us go back to the PDF. I guess we have completed the entire functionality conceptually, and also we have seen the LT-SPICE simulation and verified all the cases in the truth table. I guess that's it for this session. Next time we'll start with some other topic, and yeah. So have a good day and thank you.